Hey guys, I'm going to show you a quick video of the lawyer reading the letter from the adopted parents in an effort to sway the judge to kind of not have death row or the death penalty on the table. Maybe more of a life sentence. After I show you the video, I'm going to give you a breakdown on my thoughts on the letter. I watched the video.
Judge, this is a letter from the adoptive parents of Mr. Wilson. It's been 5 years since the worst of this began. You can't possibly understand how sorry we are for the families affected by this tragedy. We cannot change the past, but we wish we could. On that fateful day 5 years ago, not only were the lives and the dreams of 2 women lost, with their families left behind in shock and grief, but another family was left shocked and grieved over a different kind of loss. It's easy to recognize the victims and their families and to feel profound sympathy for all they suffered and lost. But one group that isn't often recognized as those also suffering is the family of the accused. Our journey of loss didn't happen all in one day as theirs did, but it was heartbreaking nonetheless. Wade was a joyful child, loved his parents and sisters, and was loved immensely in return. But over the teen years, and then especially in the early years of adulthood, Wade began to slip away from us, becoming withdrawn, erratic, and depressed at first. Then, as addiction was added to mental illness, he became frankly paranoid and delusional, and the sense of loss became increasingly sharp. He was in the system for years trying to get help for his mental anguish and for his addiction. They put a tiny Band-Aid on it and then sent him back into the world without a diagnosis, medication, and without follow-up care. We tried to hold the pieces together, but had no idea how to find the support Wade needed to be the person he was inside. The system failed him, and that fateful day in 2019, we lost the last piece of the son we loved and all the hopes for his future. In those tragic moments, when the cancer of severe mental illness and addiction won, we lost our son, grandson, brother, nephew, and uncle. So we understand the despair, anguish, loss, and hatred for someone or something that takes away someone you love. Because despite everything, Wade is still our son, and we love him. The hopes and dreams of his life are already lost, but the human is still in there somewhere, tortured beyond what most of us can even begin to imagine. Taking his life will not bring back those 2 beautiful women. There is no justice on earth for that kind of loss. Taking another life only adds to the tragedy. Please see it in your heart not to kill our son and make our innocent family suffer even more. The system designed to help those who suffer and are lost failed him. That system is broken and would be only further broken if it took Wade's last breath. That broken system owes Christine, and it owes Diane, and it owes their families, and it owes our family. It owes us all the peace that it did not provide to Wade. Candy and Steve Wilson.
Thank you.
We would rest.
All right.
But I would just ask that you colloquy the defendant to ensure that he doesn't want to speak at this hearing.
Oh, well, Mr. Wilson, you have an opportunity, just like during any of the other phases of, well, let me just finish real quick. Any other phases during the case, if you want to address the court, I would permit you to do that. Obviously, everything's recorded. But you would have that opportunity if you wish. No one can prevent you from addressing the court if you wish to, and no one can make you address the court if you don't want to. So it is a decision that's solely left up to you if you want to address the court or not.
Not today. Later, when I come back, I will. Today,
okay.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a tough video to watch, but let me be one of the first to say it. I'm sure there are many that are going to agree, but there may be some that disagree. The adopted parents are victims too. And how can I explain that? How can I give reason behind that? It's because they lost a son as well. They lost him to the criminal justice system off of the negative choices that he has made. Remember, when they adopted a child, they were hoping for the best. They put all love into him, hoping that he would turn out a good person, make good choices. So when that Wade Wilson got sentenced to death, or even beforehand when he was found guilty, all that goodness disappears. The hope of the man that they wanted him to be when they invested their time in him as a boy is gone. The decision has been made and the outcome has been rendered. And sometimes that's hard for a parent because they've invested all this time. And now when the person makes a decision and that choice is theirs and the outcome is there, it's hard for the parent to fully remove themselves away from that outcome. They wind up holding themselves responsible, always asking themselves, could I have done more? Could I have done more? Could I have done more? And now you got the added extreme of he's hurt other individuals, the son. So now there's not just a feeling of guilt for maybe could I have done more, because the consequences just aren't on Wade Wilson. The consequences of his actions aren't just on the adopted parents, but rather it's also on the family and loved ones of the victims Wade Wilson selfishly took. So there's a lot for the adopted parents to have to take in. And as I mentioned, it's hard because as a parent, you take responsibility of your children. But at one point, as I mentioned in another video, all you can do is give advice. All you can do at a certain point is hope the child does the best. Because the outcome is truly theirs. It's their choice. If you read the letter, I think where the letter went wrong is the parents take some of the blame, but then they blame the criminal justice system. They blame his mental health. You know, blame is the opposite of accountability. That means every time they blame another entity, if you notice, the one person that wasn't being blamed in this whole mess was the person who actually did it, which was Wade Wilson. They actually took on the accountability for him because they still see in their eyes the responsibility of the choices that he made. So therefore, Wade Wilson is just a victim. And that letter paints him as such. So again, I just wanted to give a bit of a breakdown, but they are victims too. And they're not caught in denial right now. They're accepting it, but their denial is where the accountability is. So it's a different level of denial. I mean, they have been forced to accept it now because he's been found guilty and now given the death penalty. So instead of them putting the accountability, and this is what parents do when they love their children, instead of them putting the accountability on their child, they're taking it on themselves. But now that's a heavy accountability because there's other victims. So now they're also looking to blame the system, the mental health component. It's whatever they can, because now it's not about accountability on Wade Wilson, because that's not even mentioned on the letter. It's now about accountability in the parents for that level of responsibility that they think they have. And again, just mention it one more time. As parents, yes, at some level, we want our kids to be the best they can be. But remember, at one point, we are no longer given directives. I always say directives. I have a correctional officer background. We are given advice. That is what will be given them as they get older. And ultimately, they are the ones accountable for their actions. If you exhaust all your energy trying to control an outcome that was never yours to control, the burden that you put on yourself will burn you out. Just food for thought.